we are bringing you a Cross Keys Week match between Amarith Alterna of Team Zelda and Chill versus Ursula4115 of Zebes' Frog Bar. This is a Thieves Town Division match for Week 5 Cross Keys Week. I am Danny Music, and I am joined by Lucian Greeth. Hello!
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you feeling about the beginning of this new and exciting Cross Keys week?
Cross keys is always just so much fun. So many endless opportunities.
All right, with that being said, the runners are off. We have both runners starting in Link's house for the time being. Going to grab that small key to Turtle Rock, which may or may not be relevant for later. And both runners are also doing the traditional starting route of grabbing the sign and checking the tree pole on their way to where the uncle would be.
Yeah, and that's about as surefire a starting strategy as there is.
So tree pole just got the 10 arrows today. And let's see. Oh, we found where Ganon is. All right. So we're not going to be going to that drop down later.
And it's always nice to have beat on where Ganon is early.
So going inside, we see a connector cave. So nice thing about Cross Keys is that you can find connectors from one area to another. This connector is Fairy Ascension Cave, and Amarith is going to go through that. We'll see where it leads off. And, well, we are in the Dark World Witch's Hut area, so not too much that we can do. I think we're just going to see a save and quit here. But in the meantime, on Ursula's side, we see the flute in the Sanctuary chest. So early flute is super nice. The Sanctuary itself is in Kakariko Village, which is the hub of where all the actions are.
And there's a Moon Pearl as well, so Dark World access very early. Be able to use that connector from Hyrule Castle to explore Dark World now.
So Ursula checking out the connector that is there, which is the Spectacle Rock. And turns out that the exit is also in the Spectacle Rock area. We find Hype Cave, but we don't have any bombs for it yet. And we find a fairy, nothing really to do there.
Alright, looks like we got a C-shaped house here. With nothing to show for it. It looks like we got our Ice Palace Big Key from the NPC in Hype Cave. Looks like we got the back of desert in the what's the NPC's name? The Snitch Lady?
Yeah, she's got a dodger because she actually blocks an entrance in entrance randomizer. Yeah, she's one of the NPCs who actually listens to the wanted posters. We see Sick Kid in the whatever you call this, the Rat Shack. Don't have a bottle for Sick Kid yet. And Amarith going through Hyrule Castle, which takes us to Dark Death Mountain right away. Gonna drop down to see these two relatively out of the way checks. We get Pyramid Fairy with 2 chests, but can't check that quite yet. And we have another connector, which is the Granny connector. And Amarith is going to be going somewhere completely different. Death Mountain, the left side.
Alright, we're gonna get our look at Hype Cave now.
So big key to Ice Palace. Full heart container, always very appreciated when you have very little equipment. Small key to Thieves Town, better to have that earlier than not. And small key to Ganon's Tower. Not the most hype cave, but it does prevent 2 potential fetch quests later.
Yeah, that Thieves Town small will, if something ends up being on that big chest, Thieves Town can be very useful.
So Amarith, in the meantime, we find a small key to Turtle Rock on Pegasus Rocks, which is in Left Death Mountain. And we also found Mario. Hello, Mario. Yeah. I should say as well, with the flute, we already do have a way to Death Mountain. So the string of connectors that Amarith found aren't so much of an advantage as they would be if it were not for the flute.
Not sure if I didn't quite catch that. I think Amarith and Ursula were both on the opposite sides of the same connector for a second.
Oh, I missed that. That might be the case.
Yeah, and that early flute's going to help a lot with early navigation, getting back to Kakariko very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
All
we got the
right.
Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, Graveyard Ledge is super nice in this mode because early on you're looking for bombs, and Graveyard Ledge is a renewable source of those. Also, Red Meringue is not a bad weapon to find while we are still looking to... While we still don't really have any weapons to be able to kill enemies. So yeah, both runners are most likely going to grind up on bombs, make sure they have their full set of 10, because who knows where this world will bring us.
Yeah, early Boomerang is nice to have until you find the hook shot stun enemies.
Alright. So we're checking out some more of the places in Kakariko. Ursula finds that Hyrule Castle entrance, decides that they don't want to go through there this time. With this early game cross-keys routing, some runners tend to take philosophies of whenever you see connectors, go through those connectors and just like deal with life as it comes. Other times you want to take more of a thorough approach, so check all of the entrances that are in a particular area before taking a connector in order to move on to the next area. Since Kakariko Village is relatively super close, with the sanctuary start being in Kakariko itself, it's a lot easier to take some more adventurous routes out of Kakariko Village. But both runners deciding to play conservative in this case, and we find the mushroom in the back of Escape. So the way the mushroom works in Cross Keys is that you deliver to the witch, and then whenever you find the potion shop, wherever the potion shop happens to be, as long as you have delivered the mushroom already, then there will be an item waiting for you. With the flute, it's especially easy to deliver that mushroom to the witch, because you can just flute to 2. Amarith finds the back of Desert. I missed that earlier. And we have Bomb Mini Moldorm Cave on Ursula's side, so we're gonna get 5 more items here.
Looks like Amarth is stealing the key from the back of Desert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is also a play that's typical to see in Cross Keys specifically, because whenever you find one of the entrances to Desert, then, especially if it's close by, when you'll be able to check it, you'll be able to check those 2 items, and if you don't like what you find, chances are you'll be able to reset and basically save scum that key.
That's good to know. I didn't know that.
So Ursula making their way up to the Lost Woods area. We're going to find Uncle. And I think Amarith is going to take this connector down.
Looks like there was a hook shot on the uncle.
Yeah. So that's a very big find. And also getting the powder there too.
It's a very rich uncle cave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this has the potential to be a fast seed based on the items that we found so far. Flute, Hookshot, and Moon Pearl are all very nice finds, with the Moon Pearl especially whenever you happen to find Dark World entrances, like what Amarith has here, then you'll just be able to check those items. You don't have to worry about bunny walking everywhere or doing some mirror Super Bunny shenanigans. We get information that Ice Palace and Thieves Town are our red crystals. We do have the big key to Ice Palace already. It looked like there's a small key on Aga's ledge on Ursula's side. That small key can be a little bit problematic because in order to get that ledge item, you'll have to have cleared Aga Tower, which requires both Castle Tower keys as well as the lamp, at least one sword, and the boots. So could be a while before we have that, but if Swamp is a crystal and that happens to be the small key to Swamp Palace, then maybe it's an Aga seed. What are you gonna say?
That's always the fun mystery. Like, what key is it? Is it a small to say pod, or is it a small to the ever important Swamp Palace small key?
Mm-hmm. Not being able to identify what small key that is right away presents a lot of opportunities for the game to be needlessly cruel. So one drop down that we have not found yet is the well. Ursula is going to check that since we've already found Ganon's Tower. There's no worry about being softlock here. But Ursula finds the magic bat, which is super nice because we have the powder from Uncle already. And that magic bat had the hammer. So... Oh, the well was at the magic bat drop. Gotcha. So that hammer actually will let Ursula be able to check the well at magic bat drop. And that all stemmed about because we found Uncle in the Lost Woods hideout who had the hookshot. So Uncle is locking 2 progression items.
Very nice bomb strats by Amarith.
Mm-hmm. Going through Hyrule Castle. Hyrule Castle one is an interesting one in Cross Keys. The stuff beyond the map chest does not become in logic until you find the Hyrule Castle small key, but in this case it's available super early on, so Amarith is seeing if they can get some kind of advantage by doing Hyrule Castle early, especially with bombs. In the meantime, I don't believe we found anything substantial in the well on Ursula's side, but it makes sense that you would want to check that as soon as possible. We've already found most of our high-density, non-dungeon item locations. Missing Paradox Cave, and we're missing Blind's Hut, as well as Hookshot Cave. But we found a lot of them already. We also get a map check on Ursula's side, which says that Desert Palace is a crystal. Big key to Swamp Palace in Zelda's cell, locked behind the Hyrule Castle small key.
Yep, and simultaneously, Ursula found the dam to drain Swamp Palace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll need the flippers and we'll need that Swamp Palace small key before being able to do anything substantial there. But what's nice about finding the dam is that you only have to pull that switch once, and then the entrance to Swamp Palace will always be open, and you'll be able to get that flooded item whenever you decide to flute to 7, basically. We get the information that the medallion required for the Turtle Rock main entrance is Quake. And Amarith going to check these 2 chests that they found in Pyramid Fairy, one of which is a pod small. I believe that's our first pod small from either runner.
That looks to be correct, yeah.
Maybe your second one is on that rock there. But in the meantime, Ursula digs up 300 rupees, so good to have some money. Amarith finds the main entrance to Turtle Rock, which is located where Spike Cave should be. And Ursula just found the tavern where Agina's cave should be. No need to get the ledge item. Amarith finds that was at the Aga Tower. Decides not to do that, although you could technically get that first chest. Amarith doesn't have the hammer yet, so maybe Amarith could not.
Yeah, going through there with only 5 bombs is a pretty risky move.
Yeah, can't do it with only 5 bombs, eh? Amarith will still need to go to the uncle to get that hook shot and get that sequence underway.
Looks like Ursula's
Yes, that
found a
was Aga 1.
paradox. Sorry about that.
All good. Paradox Cave is another high-density item location. Very good find for Ursula with that small key to Tower of Hera.
Yeah, better to have it not needed than need it not have it.
Mm-hmm. All right. On Ursula's side, we see a big key. I'm not sure what it's for yet. But Amarith checking out the Ice Rod Cave area. Super nice to be able to flute over there.
Looks like we missed all of Paradox.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So Ursula did get 5 items, including a big key. We don't know what they are for yet, but hopefully we'll catch it when it's Amarith's side. Finding the second pod key. And going to be fluting to another place. This is a super inconvenient walk if you don't have the flute, but fortunately both runners do have the flute.
Yeah, finding that flute is one of your first checks. Just opens so many opportunities for routing.
Mm-hmm. It looks like we had a glove in Paradox Cave because Ursula just lifted that white rock.
Yep, and then we find Thieves Town.
Yep. Turtle Rock Small, I believe that was our second.
And Thieves Town was a red crystal, correct?
Yep. Thieves Town and Ice Palace were the reds. There's a mirror in the ambush chest.
So the items so far are falling fairly neatly into place.
Mm-hmm. Ursula definitely having an advantage on items so far in this early routing. Amarith having done a bit more entrance completion, so we'll see if they end up evening out or if Ursula is able to push that item advantage and go a bit further ahead. Ooh, very nice dodge of that rock from Amarith there. Gotta be a bit careful walking around the overworld with just half a heart.
Definitely. One false move and it's all over.
Okay, looks like Amarith is now going up to the Lost Woods area, so this will set her on the path to be able to get the hookshot and the hammer. Not doing many Moldorm's Cave quite yet, though, because only 2 bombs. Alright, we see Amarith grab that hookshot, gonna grab that powder, and we'll probably see her go back to Mini Moldorm Cave sooner than later.
Yeah, having that hook shot will make very quick work of those Moldorms.
Mm-hmm. In the meantime, Ursula picks up that pod key that was in Ice Rod Cave. Very much appreciated bomb refill for Amarith. And it turns out that underneath the rock in the Ice Rod Cave area was nothing important. Eastern is also a crystal.
It looks like Ursula is making their way into Hyrule Castle now. But the hammer should be a bit smoother sailing than Amarth's trip through.
Both runners doing Hyrule Castle before finding that small key. So we'll see Ursula pick up that Swamp Palace big key. And Amarith getting the information that'll make you nervous about clearing Aga Tower. That being said, Amarith knows where Aga Tower is. I also just noticed that we had Mimic Cave there, which is in logic right now. I don't believe we saw Ursula check that.
Yeah, and that's a rough one to find right before what should probably be the hammer upcoming.
We'll need Amarith to go to Useless Fairy Dropdown in order to get the hammer. But in the meantime, has a nice weapon to be able to deal with these mini Moldorms. Alright, mirroring out. Not checking Dark Cross Room just yet, maybe? Ursula's gonna go through a connector instead. So Ursula, with having found the mirror now, will be able to check a lot more on Right Side Death Mountain than Amarith was. I believe that on Amarth's side we hadn't seen the old man fetch. Which means that the old man was probably at Tower of Hera, and if Ursula gets that, then we'd be able to see where the old man spawn points are. So Amarth grabbed that hammer, and we'll see where they decide to go. Ursula finds a sword just hanging out in Desert Palace. And I like turning in that mushroom early, especially once you already have powder. There's no sense in saving it. And then when you find the potion shop, it'll just be a fun, free item for you. Alright, Ursula dropping down for Pyramid Fairy. Gonna get that other pod key that Amarth had already. But Ursula is gonna go through this. We'll see if Ursula decides to mirror on the lower part of Dark Death Mountain, then that would be 5 additional entrances available. But we will see what this key is for. Turns out it was just a Meyer Small.
Tower Hera is just another shop.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we did see the old man then.
I think I saw Amarith go into a dark cave or two. It's possible one of those might have been Old Man.
Gotcha.
That's always the fun thing about cross. There's a dark cave. Well, the fun thing about cross keys, you have no idea which direction you're coming from, which cave you're in, all sorts of things in play.
Mm-hmm. It's very tricky to commentate for that reason. Ursula coming back to Thieves Town. Did we find the big key?
Might have been one of those paradox items we missed.
Yep, okay. Ursula does have the big key. Yep.
Which Amarith will give us confirmation of here in a second.
Mm-hmm. So this dungeon is fully clearable in logic, because we have that small key already, too. And we have that hammer. So, small key to Hera and a blue rupee that we knew about already. Now we're going to see the 5 from Amarth's side. Nice job navigating the conveyor area in Thieves Town, especially on low hearts. It's a little bit dangerous. But yes, we have a full heart container, glove, big key to Thieves, second full heart container, and a compass. Pretty nice haul from Paradox Cave. There's a full heart container from the attic chest.
Did paradox just loop back into itself?
I think so. This would be a moment where you would say, game has jokes. Yep, that is the top of Paradox Cave connecting to the bottom of Paradox Cave, where Turtle Rock should be. But Amarth doesn't have that mirror just yet. Hasn't gone to Thieves Town, but might here.
Looks like we missed the big chest pickup. That's what the game knowledge, using the powder before picking up the pot to get that fairy.
Mm-hmm. Powder is a very nice safety to have in this dungeon because there are a couple places where you can grab those anti-fairies. Also, a couple hearts in the pots on the other side if you happen to be in Thieves Town without the powder. If you are in Thieves Town without a small key, the only chest that is in logic past the big key locked door is the one in Blind's cell. But since the runners both have the small key already, not super relevant this time around. But we also will be getting one of our red crystals, which means that Pyramid Fairy is slightly more likely to be in play than it was, well, than it would be in other seeds.
All right, blind is down, and we've got our first crystal on the board.
Yep. And a nice vanilla full heart container.
Now, Amarith has the benefit of not having to double dip Thieves Town like Ursula did.
Yeah, Ursula. The first time that Ursula was here, Ursula did have the means to be able to full clear it, but Ursula decided to come back, most likely due to not having a sword before this. So Amarith doesn't have a sword now and is going to have a much harder blind fight for that reason. So we'll hopefully be okay here. And there's the fire rod from the chicken house. That was a pretty interesting dodge of the little beetles. Chicken house was in Death Mountain.
Yeah, and those little beetle things hit like a freight train.
Not so much, because Thieves Town is in the light world this time around.
Right, I forgot about the cross keys way of doing that.
Yeah. So, the reason for that is those beetles share enemy information data with the rats in Hyrule Castle. So they don't deal very much because the rats don't deal very much. However, if Hyrule Castle happens to be in the Dark World, or you happen to enter Hyrule Castle from the Dark World, then all of a sudden, the rats in Hyrule Castle and the snakes will do what the beetles will do. 2 hearts of damage on green mail, plus they'll have more health. So, good tips to know if you're playing cross keys.
Yeah, I've definitely been caught by surprise once or twice by all of a sudden 2 hard dealing rats.
Yep, especially if you're checking Dark Cross Room in the dark, and you can't see, and it's just like, oh, all of a sudden I have 10. I just lost 10 hearts. What am I doing?
It looks like there's just a piece of heart on that big chest that we missed earlier.
Okay. Ooh, that's an unfortunate place to get knocked down by a jellyfish.
And kudos to Blind though for selling the con by jumping in with you.
Alright, so we might see Ursula go into Aga's tower here. I don't believe we have any Castle Tower small keys, but Ursula will be able to get an item that Amarith missed on her first time here. So if that item ends up being something important, it could be a long time before Amarith comes back. Meantime, we're seeing Hammer strats on Blind, gets through the first 2 phases very nicely. Gotta be a little careful on this 3rd phase, and I don't believe that was something important on Ursula's end. But yeah. Good fight on Amarith's side getting through Hammer Blind there. That one is not easy.
Nah, it's not. When Thieves Town is something you can clear on one trip, it's definitely better to do it on that one trip than double dip.
Mm-hmm. 300 rupees. That was the Aga Tower first chest. Amarith finds Ice Palace. Doesn't have that fire rod yet, but Ice Palace is a bit closer to being fully in logic than it might seem. Already got that big key. Don't have any small keys yet, though. Probably want to find some better equipment before jumping into Ice Palace. With only Fighter Sword, that Cold Stare fight is going to be pretty difficult. No runner
Definitely.
has found a bottle either.
Yeah, it's been pretty dry on bottles and swords so far. Just the one.
Yep, Ice Palace and Thieves Town near each other. Oh, there's Swamp Palace. Swamp Palace in Death Mountain there. Not always required by the Titan's Mitts. Sometimes you can you're from the Dark World in order to get to that entrance, or sometimes you can drop down from above. Obviously, Titan's Mitts would be most convenient, though. Ursula going to drop a bottle for the fairy, but then realizing, oh, yep, we don't have any bottles. And it looks like Amarith is going to check most of the same things.
Here's hoping the Amarith makes their way over to the west side of Death Mountain soon to get that chicken hut and fire rod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, in terms of navigation, I don't believe we've seen the ordinary Dark World access point from Kakariko Village yet. Lots of potential things available in the Village of Outcasts Thieves Town area, and especially if you have the mirror, that lets you do the left side of Race Game, as well as make your way up to Graveyard Ledge from the adjacent areas, too. With the Fire Rod that Ursula currently has, Skull Woods also becomes much more palatable of an option.
Looks like a dead rock just got a Amarith.
Yeah. Fortunately, with the flute, it's not too hard to come back to this area.
Nah,
Yeah, we haven't seen the exploration from Old Man Cave yet, so there is a warp point yet to be discovered. I don't believe we've seen either side of Old Man Cave either. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna comment. Yeah, it's a quick flute. Warp to 1 from there.
Yep, and there Amarith grabs that fire rod. Yeah, that was a vanilla spiral cave. We have vanilla spiral and vanilla ice rod cave. But that is our first ice palace small key, making Ice Palace even closer to being fully completable in logic. We would need the red cane only, I believe. Or potentially the second Ice Palace small.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Lumberjack was also vanilla.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
See, first was making a play for the back or heading over to East Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, I think going to that right side, which I don't believe we've seen on Amarith's side either. Yeah, oftentimes early game it's very good to know where your connectors go, because later on when you're looking for things, it'll help you navigate through the map a bit more quickly. Ursula finds the What you call it? Back of Turtle Rock entrance. And yeah, vanilla drop-downs aren't that uncommon because there are only 8 drop-downs in the game. Interestingly, as you shuffle among more things, so the chance of something being vanilla gets closer and closer to about 64%. So about a 64% chance that one of these entrances is going to be vanilla, not including the connectors. And here we see Agina's cave.
And also importantly, that's also our access to the Village of Outcasts area.
That's true. We could get there anyway, just with the regular Kakariko entrance. But it's good to find that one, because there absolutely had to be a connector leading to the top of Bumper Cave. So the fact that you know where it is means that you can also grab that item and grab that other entrance that's nearby. Yes. What I mean is that we have the Moon Pearl Glove and Hammer already, so we can get to the Dark World the way we could normally get to the Dark World in a non-entrance mode.
Right. So we got Tower of Hera in the entrance to Death Mountain.
Mm-hmm. And we have that small key and a fire source already, too. And we got that hook shot.
So yeah, Hera is completable as it is right now. Not a full clear. We'd be missing that big chest, but
Mm-hmm. Ursula going to go ahead and complete this dungeon even before checking that map chest. Alright, so finally Amarith finds the Desert Palace entrance. Amarith has stolen that small key earlier, but probably not going to want to hard commit to doing that after picking up this sword.
alright, and Mars gets their first sword.
Mm-hmm. Ursula giving up on the Hera pot for now, and just gonna check the Hera basement. That small key was available pretty early on, so good chance that something that we're looking for could be here.
So we got flipped desert entrance. The left exit leads to the right entrance.
Mm-hmm. We saw that on Ursula's side as well, but I don't believe we saw Ursula go back to get the middle entrance. Yep, and good catch that there was nothing important on the torch.
Yeah, I believe it was the compass. A compass.
Ursula still not opening up that map chest. Oh, this was where it was. Okay, we did see this on Ursula's side. Okay, so in this case, Amarith is probably going to be pretty much on Ursula's heels for the next section.
Looks like Ursula's giving up on the Harapot. Still hasn't checked
Yeah.
that map chest.
Also giving up on that map chest. I wonder if it just, like, was so much not on their mind that it escaped their field of vision. Hopefully that won't be too consequential for them. We'll probably see it on Amarith's side very shortly. And we get that Swamp Palace is the green pendant, and Palace of Darkness is a red pendant. Ursula, in the meantime, finds Ganon's Tower, which is a great find with the hammer and the hookshot, as well as a couple small keys. We're able to check pretty much the entire left side. So we saw Amarith take a death in Desert Palace. This was intentional in order to set up a save scumming point if Amarith doesn't like what we see on the small key locked chests here. In this case, we get a bottle and a piece of heart. Amarith is going to keep that. So this means that Amarith is going to have to find a small key. Since we know that Desert Palace is a crystal, we'll have to find that small key in order to complete the dungeon. That was our first bottle, and Sick Kid was available, so I think Amarith is going to check Sick Kid very shortly, and we'll see if that bottle ends up leading to something good.
I believe Sick Kid was in the bomb shack.
That's right. Yeah, but Amarith had already saved and quit, so we'll definitely need to find that Desert Palace small key, which hopefully won't be in a rude location for her. Can be very risky sealing that key, for the same reasons that it's risky in regular key sanity. Ursula missed the small key that was in that room, I believe. Probably not a huge deal, but the Ganon's Tower keys are pretty scarce and we end up needing to do that climb. That could be a bit of an issue. And we see a bottle in logic on Ursula's side. Not going on to check Rando Room, though. Oh, it doesn't have a bomb.
Oh, that's a rough place to run out of bombs.
Oh, I missed it. Did Amarith check Sick Kid?
No, Martha's not checked Sick Kid yet.
Okay. All right. That was the back of Super Bunny Cave. Did we check that already?
I don't think we've seen Super Bunny yet, no.
Yeah.
Looks like Left Side Desert's entrance was Eastern Palace.
Mm-hmm. So this one we know from Ursula's side, it is a crystal. Don't have a bow and don't have that big key, so it'll just be 4 items max. There's a sword, that's nice. Yeah, Eastern Palace is one of those where it's such a pain to decide to dive into it for just 4 out of 6 items because it's a relatively long dungeon to walk through. But especially if Eastern Palace is in kind of a hard location to get to, you don't want to leave something important here on accident. And this is a bit of an annoying location to get back to at this time. And we see the big key to Skullwoods. Haven't seen Skullwoods from either runner yet. That's another one that's nice to find early, because if you get the version of Skullwoods that soft locks you, you'll be able to get everything with that big key, as well as with the Fire Rod be able to check what the back of Skullwoods has, which is a random entrance that is in the entrance pool.
Unfortunately, no bombs shows up yet again.
Yeah. Ursula running out of bombs is quite unfortunate. I'm not sure. I think we've seen that the Sun Prize is 20 rupees, so no help there. Hopefully Ursula will just stumble into a bomb shop soon.
That or the bomb shack in Kakariko, wherever it ends up being.
That is true. We have seen where the bomb was. Ooh, there's a really nice find. That is the Cane of Samaria on Amarith's side.
Yeah, so dipping Eastern definitely turned out to be the right choice, because Master Sword and Cane Samaria definitely opens up some later dungeons and has more offense.
We've seen a bunch of Turtle Rock small keys already, and Cane plus Fire Rod lets you be able to get the front. I believe you'll have logical access to Laser Bridge as well, and we've seen the front entrance of Turtle Rock already. So yeah, that one is also locked behind the lamp, so good to know.
Nice little bit of mirror work there by Amarith.
And now we see Palace of Darkness finally. How many keys? Just the 2, I believe?
It's kind of funny that Eastern and Pod are right on top of each other, just like in the real game.
They're destined to hang together.
They are joined at the hip.
Alright, I believe Amarith's bottle is empty. Gonna go Bollock's side anyway. So, this could be a mimic clip. Yeah, that bottle is indeed empty. Okay. In the meantime, we're getting the front of Skullwoods from Ursula. Can't check that big chest yet. Doesn't want to drop down. Doesn't want to use a key, I think. Yeah, gonna try to drop down in order to save that key. And this is the ideal place for that drop down to be. Small key to Castle Tower there. Okay, so Amarith takes an intentional death for a fairy revival. Is this also going to lock the camera?
That's what I'm wondering. I've never seen a potion camera unlock like this.
Yeah, that works. That's
a,
really cool. I've never seen that before.
neither have I. That is a good heads-up play by Amarith.
Yeah, using that bug net which Amarith had just found in Shooter Room and Pod. Very cool.
Yeah, the bug catching that makes a rare clutch play.
Oh man, I wanted something to be there.
Yeah, that is a bit of a letdown. So that was a brilliant play for, unfortunately, not much payoff.
So because of going through this way, Amarith has not opened up the front door to Palace of Darkness yet, which could play an impact in her routing through pod, so she might be able to check Harmless Hellway on this trip, for example, and then do that drop down for the one chest that's currently stuck at the bottom, southwest basement at the end.
Ursula just found Pegasus boots over in Hookshot Cave.
Oh, that's a big find. Hookshot Cave. Fortune Teller House, but in the Dark World. Yeah, boots are super nice in entrance because in addition to letting you go fast, they let you bonk into things, and there are 3 things that you can bonk into that are actually entrances.
Right, 2 caves right outside of Link's house and the bomb shop, and then the bonk rocks, correct?
Yep, that's it. Oh, yep, King's Tomb as well, so that makes it 4.
Right. Yep, that one slipped my mind.
Mm-hmm. So Quake and Harmless Hellway chest, that one is locked behind 6 pod keys, and we're gonna see Amarith go to the back of pod. So the chests that we're gonna get by hammer yumping here are also locked behind 6 pod keys. So doing this means that Amarith won't be checking the southwest basement of pod, which is in logic currently with only 1 pod key. Unless Amarith does the fairy shenanigan trick to, once again, just for that 1 check.
Nice full magic pick up there.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Ursula is opting to go straight to Landmo in Desert Palace instead of stealing key for right side.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see if something important ends up being here. If so, Amarith is going to need that Desert Palace Small to get it. So Amarith is rewarded with Cane of Burna, and is not going to go back into pod, so this is a bit risky because it isolates that southwest basement check. But hopefully Amarith will have bow or find more pod keys soon.
It looks like just a compass on Landmo.
Oh, yeah, we haven't checked Super Bunny Cave yet.
No, Mara checked earlier, but she bowed out once she found it.
Mm-hmm. Half magic.
Yeah, half magic's always nice to have, especially with boss fights against possibly against Cold Stare or Trinex looming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now I'm even more curious about this Ice Palace play, because we do have that red cane. Amarith even has that Master Sword. It is a red crystal, and we have found the bomb shop already.
Yeah, I like the Ice Palace play. With Icebreaker, should be a nice breezy route straight to Cold Stare.
Mm-hmm. Ursula finds the book in the Desert Palace big chest. Book is another one that is good to find earlier.
Yeah, because that'll give you access to your Bombos and Ether tablets. And well, I was going to say being right on top of Death Mountain, easy access to Ether, but looks like we're going somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Back to Kakariko.
No one's checked Sick Kid there. Just hanging out on the bottom of Kakariko.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what Sick Kid has. Can definitely say Amarith already made good use of that bottle, though.
Yeah, then Amarith has the spare chain, so she'll go ahead and pick up that red potion.
Mm-hmm. Yep, haven't seen Zora yet from either runners. Oh, there's a small key. That one was available pretty early on. Misery Mire.
That looks like just a piece of heart on Lake Hylia Island.
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of Misery Mire, that place that you just found a small key for. Yep, I'd say you go in. So, without the big key to Misery Mire, we can't complete the dungeon, but at present we can get 6 out of 8 items. If we happen to find the big key, then that would be a very nice advantage for Amarith. I was doing a practice race yesterday, and the guy that I was running against didn't want to dive into Misery Mire without that big key, which ended up being a French vanilla location.
It's been my experience that Misery Mire always finds new and impressive ways to hurt me.
Yeah. We saw Blind's house at Bonk Rocks on Ursula's side. I didn't catch all the items, but I don't believe anything was necessary there.
I saw a cape. That's the only thing I
Oh,
saw.
okay. So that one is potentially relevant.
Looks like we're heading to randomizer room, I would guess.
Yeah, Ursula's worried about it because they ran out of bombs before being able to do it last time.
Yeah, you can't blame them. 4 checks. Never take that lightly.
Mm-hmm. The disadvantage here, too, is we don't currently have that Ganon's Tower big key. And Ursula doesn't currently have the red cane, so it'd have been nice to be able to find that before coming back and potentially be able to check that big chest. But yeah, rando room being 4 locations, it's the highest density area that you have left until Ursula finds the red cane, which is pretty buried, so... Makes sense. Yep, does still miss that pot key, you're right. And we are out of Ganon's Tower keys right now. So if we're going to want to go to that right side, Ursula's going to have to find another small key first. And there was the Titan's Mitts.
Yeah, it's a very nice find.
Yep, Ursula will be pretty glad that they didn't leave that one behind.
Definitely, because Titan Mitts opens up a good chunk of the game.
Big key to Eastern. There's Big key to
Rock.
Turtle Rock on Ursula's side. Okay.
We're fighting ice armors with no bow.
Yep, so...
Oh, did Ursula find blue mail at some point? I noticed they're wearing blue mail now.
Yeah, I was trying to picture where that was too. I'm not sure exactly.
I'm gonna be very interested in seeing what's in the vanilla big key room.
So while Ursula is getting these Armos Knights underway, Marith is heading to The pod area. I don't believe we've seen Kiki yet. There's the actual warehouse.
Yeah, I am really interested in seeing what's behind Ice Armos. Oh, we found our old man.
Yeah, there's the warp point that we didn't get earlier.
Alright, Ice Armos is down. Let's see what we won. Unfortunately, not much reward for the effort.
Unlucky. Alright. Ursula, leaving that pot key behind, is going to have to find another Ganon's Tower small key before being able to do anything more, even after finding... Well, I guess once they find Kain, they can do Tile Room, but that's it. And once they find Big Key, they can do the first 2 chests of the climb only.
Yeah, it is a long climb for those 2 chests.
Right, hey, there's our potion shop. See, this is exactly why you deliver the mushroom sooner rather than later. Otherwise, it would be quite a pain to have to walk all the way back through that maze leading up to Palace of Darkness in order to finally get that potion shop item.
Nice play by Amarith, hookshotting past the bumper.
Mm-hmm. Yep, if you find Bumper Cave and you have the hookshot, you can do that backwards. Which is something that you probably don't get that much probably something that you wouldn't know unless you've played Entrance and got burned by it before.
Well, now I know. And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah. I learned it the hard way.
It's one of the most unfortunate entrances. You just walk in the door and just get beamed right in the face.
Yup. Good to find, though. And Ursula finds the big key to Hera. I don't believe Ursula actually beat Hera yet. They tried to do the Hera pot earlier and was giving Ursula a bit of a hard time, but now that is all required in logic anyway. Sick Kid just has a heart piece. That's good. I was dying to know what that one was.
Yeah, it's been available.
Oh yeah, that has been available for a while. Amarith finding Turtle Rock here is nice because we have so many small keys already, and Amarith already has that red cane. So, especially if she goes all the way out to Laser Bridge, this could be a nice advantage for her. We also know where the front of Turtle Rock is, and can potentially check the first 3 chests as well. But we don't have the big key, actually, so we can't go all the way to Laser Bridge. It is Ursula who had found the big key to Turtle Rock, and that was in Ganon's Tower, if I recall correctly.
I believe Bob's chest had the Turtle Rock key. Alright, looks like Ursula's heading back to show Hera.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's an unfortunate place for Amarith to get dead rocked.
Yeah, nobody likes dead rocks. This is the bane of every single rando player's existence.
Yeah, Ursula is missing that map chest. There's a small key to Desert Palace, so that's good. That'll be right on the way for Amarith, and checking the small key lock chests won't end up burning her, really.
That looks like Amara circled back around to the front of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I like this play a lot. Putting that Red Cane to use. Red Cane was in Eastern Palace, which was in not a very favorable location, so you gotta play with the advantages you have, and I like this. Also for the same reason, that is why I liked Ursula checking the Smith pretty much as soon as Ursula got the Titan's Mitts.
Very nice and clean Moldorm.
Moldorm's got a heart piece.
And a crystal, which I don't think we had confirmed yet, so that's good to have.
Mm-hmm. So we have almost complete pendant or pendant crystal information now. We know 5 crystals and 2 pendant locations. Only 1 more pendant to be had. And there's the flippers on Amarith's side. Flippers is nice. Puts Zora in logic. Puts the waterfall. Well, Zora was already in logic, but puts Zora Ledge as well as Waterfall Cave in logic. But in addition, in Entrance Randomizer, flippers are extra valuable because of the area deemed the Dark World Shopping Mall, which is in the lower right side of the Dark World, leads to 3 entrances, any one of which could be important. What were you going to say?
I cannot remember.
Alright, Ursula also checking the back of Sahasrarla's hut. Gets a pod key, compass to Meyer, and red rupee.
Looks like Martha's gonna fill out. Okay, looks like we got the old man cave from the back.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the runners were waiting to find a sword before doing this, which makes a lot of sense. Yep, Ursula continuing to put those Titan's Mitts to use. Gonna check hammer pegs, might grab this purple chest. Since Ursula has the book already, they could combo purple chest with stuff like K45 all the way up to Bombo's tablet. Opts not to grab the purple chest at this point, though.
The old man spawn point, mountain cave, was at the 5 Dark World loot spot, right?
Yep, that's right. I don't know if we've seen the back of that connector yet. And the back could also be somewhere else that's a more useful location. All right, we're seeing Ice Palace from Amarith. I like this a lot. I was hoping to see this soon.
Yeah, like you said, putting that Cancer Mario to work, Icebreaker, it's a nice breezy route to Cold Stare.
Mm-hmm. And Amarith does have that second Ice Palace small key anyway, so even without the red cane, it would be in logic at this point. You also have half magic, so it'll be hopefully not too bad of a Cold Stare fight. And there's Sankart.
Very impressive clear of the Pengator room.
Mm-hmm. I like that double bomb strat a lot. Yep. We're gonna have Pyramid Fairy, and we know where that big red bomb location is. And with the flute, we can deliver it to the pyramid pretty easily. We have not seen the pyramid. Soul.
Do we lose feed?
Yeah, we'll have the feed momentarily, but it'll be good to get that information pretty soon. So in the meantime, Ursula checked that purple chest. Oh, Ursula did have the purple chest. Okay. Purple chest just has money. I missed it if we saw the tablet.
I don't think we did.
So Bombo's tablet is still in play.
Oh, you know what? Ursula doesn't have the Master Sword.
That's true. So you can scout the tablet, but not get the item.
Alright, looks like we're in the back of the maze game. Or not.
Bombos medallion in Ice Palace. Oh, I gotta love it. So that fire rod was definitely required for our Ice Palace entrance. Not that it was super out of the way.
Looks like... Okay, I got the feedback now. It looks like Ursula is heading towards Mothula.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so Ursula had found the back of Skull Woods. Not sure exactly where that was, but we'll see it when Ursula leaves. Fighter Sword Moth is not an easy fight. So gotta kind of play the long game, making sure you take as little damage as possible. And also use the hammer at this point to deal some more damage, but hammer has such a low radius in the hitbox, even when extended via the sword. Back of Skull was at Light World Archery. Got it. Alright, Cold Stare fight on Amarith's side. Very nice job using that fire rod to dispatch the eyes there. And we get double boss clears. Amarith with her first logical bottle. And Ursula getting 300 more rupees. I guess the Desert Palace Small Key is also available in Logic, but Amarith doesn't know that yet.
Right. Nice little heads up play there to Powder the Chicken Lady.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, there's the back of Turtle Rock, too. So in Entrance Randomizer, the back of Turtle Rock doesn't expect you to be able to do the laser skip. It is hard required to have either Cape, Cane, or Mirror Shield.
And there's a nice little red mail at the end of Laser Bridge for Ursula.
Mm-hmm. Not going to be able to check Crystal Roller Room without that red cane, which was found in Eastern Palace, though. And that's a tower key. I think that's the second one.
Yes, it appears to be. So Aga is on the table.
We'll need the lamp to make it in Logic, but with a fire rod, it's not that awful of an Aga clear. We know that Aga Ledge has a small key, and we don't know where that small key belongs yet, but we haven't seen the Swamp Palace one, so could be that. Swamp Palace is a pendant, though. Ursula does check Bombo's tablet and won't need to come back to that, fortunately.
And Marth's getting harassed by the murder dactyl and Meyer.
Mm-hmm. Just wanna support the local economy, get that big red bomb. Check what's in Pyramid Fairy. I like this a lot from Amarith. Pyramid Fairy was available very early, and with checking Pyramid Fairy now, Amarith can route that into Pyramid Ledge, as well as get all the stuff at the top of Hyrule Castle. Amarith does flute to 4 to do it. It's actually faster if you flute to 5.
That's good to know. I appreciate that. Looks like Meyer's a crystal. Do we have that before?
I believe we knew that from Amarith's side.
And Marth's going to play it safe here with 1 heart left.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Amarith had already checked the top of Hyrule Castle. Really cool use of the medallion there. Getting those hearts back up. Okay, Pyramid Ledge is a small key. Gonna want to see what that is. Ganon's Tower. So, that's one that Ursula is gonna want to find before heading back relatively soon. Ursula putting the Turtle Rock Big Key to use, gonna check Crystal Roller Room. Doesn't end up being anything important, though. And I believe Amarth just found the front of Super Bunny Cave, that was?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, nothing in the pyramid this time, but especially with the 2 red crystals being so early in logic, it's very tempting to check that. Okay, so now we're finally going to be making our way to the Catfish Zora area. Going to be able to combo everything, which is really nice. And Amarth has those flippers already.
Yeah, be able to knock out the entire Zora area in one trip. So that's good to do.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think of where those flippers were found. Was that also...
I believe it was Turtle Rock, if my memory's right.
Yeah, that's right. It was Turtle Rock.
The fire
roller room.
Yeah.
Which Ursula can't get until finding that red cane from Eastern Palace. Spike Cave. Yep, you gotta do it. It's in logic. You got a fairy.
Oh, and a red potion too. That makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Just bombs from Spike Cave. And where is Ursula going? Yeah, Ursula finally checking this one out to get that Meyer small key.
You don't see people leave Spike Cave too often.
No.
Not to the front door, at least.
Yeah, it's always unfortunate to have to drain some of your magic in order to leave Spike Cave, but...
Especially when it's in an out-of-the-way location like Zora, it's tough to get back to.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so we saw the heart container that was on Zora's ledge. What does our king himself have? Just bombs. Marth not even going to bother to pick that heart container up.
Yeah, 12 hearts. Players of the skill level shouldn't have too much trouble.
Yeah. Alright, Ursula going through Misery Mire the way you normally would. In a Key Sanity mode, it's actually faster to go to the left side first, and then save the Bridge Lock Chest and Spike Room for the end. But Ursula is going to get that Eastern Palace big key ahead of time, so when Ursula decides to go to Eastern Palace, Ursula would be able to check one additional chest that Amarith was not able to get on her time there. We'll see if that ends up becoming relevant, but since Amarith has already put in the red cane to some pretty good use, I do think that the advantage works out in Amarith's favor overall.
Yeah, and that bow is still missing.
Mm-hmm. Vanilla bow would be probably the best case scenario for Ursula.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that big chest.
Ooh, I think we're... Yep, Ursula knows it. Not quite enough magic for those last couple shots.
Wherever's half magic, was that in Pod or Eastern?
I don't recall specifically, unfortunately.
I think I'm right, but I'm not 100% sure.
Hey, there was that blue mail. Wondering when that was going to show up.
Alright, Mara should have a slightly easier time with Mocula having that Master Sword on hand.
Oh, well, we're not going to be fighting Mothula quite yet,
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
the boss is in a different location.
Yeah, yeah. I get that sometimes when I'm playing cross keys. I go to a place thinking it's the place.
Yeah, Amarith is going to want to fight Mothula at some point, though. Also going to want to find those boots at some point.
I can't remember where Hookshot Cave ended up being. Do you remember?
Not specifically, unfortunately. So here's the big chest of Skullwoods. This one, Ursula was not able to check.
Skullwoods is a surprisingly tricky bomb jump.
Yeah. My visual cue for that one is I always make sure that I'm above the pixels that make like a right angle. You have to be above the bottom edge of that. Amara's just deciding, I'll get this later. We'll check this one first.
Yeah, it's a good idea not to just burn through all the bombs like that.
Mm-hmm. All right, Amarith. One more chest, and then bomb jump take 2. This is gonna be good. All right, first try on the right side.
Nothing but a red rupee.
Yeah.
And then Moldor decides to be a jerk and push Amarith off.
A bit unfortunate. So thinking ahead to the items that we're going to need, we're going to need a bow in order to clear Eastern Palace. We don't necessarily need the ice rod because Turtle Rock is a pendant. Logically, we're going to want that lamp at some point, but I think both our runners are perfectly capable without logic. And then key-wise, we're going to need the Misery Mire big key, as well as the... is it just the Mire one? Yeah, I think it's just the Mire one that we haven't found collectively between the two runners.
Right, and here's hoping, because the Swamp Small is still at large, but Swamp is a pendant, so might not be necessary, but could be necessary.
Mm-hmm. So, tentative 3 items to go, but we can definitely find items that are basically fetch quests for our other go mode items.
That's a nice preemptive strike on the bird.
Yeah. Getting revenge on that other murderodactyl.
Alright, looks like we're going to be seeing Hera from Amarith.
Yep, let's see that map chest.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's going to be very interesting if that turns out to be something important.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Map chest has the lamp. Oh my. Well, the runners do have a fire source already, but in entrance randomizer, dark rooms are locked by the lamp specifically, even the ones that are locked by lamp or fire rod in other modes. So Dark Cross Room, for example, is locked by the lamp specifically that Amarith now has. Yeah, both runners having a little bit of trouble with the Harapot setup. The trick with doing it this way is that the last movement has to be exactly 1 pixel. But it is nice because you're able to line up off the pegs.
Yeah, and Harapot's one of those tricks. There are many roads to success.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of players have their own little preferred setups.
Alright, Amarith also deciding, okay, we're gonna get the basement first. Yeah. As a runner, especially in a race where there are consequences, and one where you always want to do well for your team, it adds a little bit of an extra pressure when it comes to executing tricks like that, so totally understandable if there's a little bit of frustration there.
Oh yeah, definitely. But gotta push on.
Mm-hmm.
And Ursula does not take a laser to the face. It looks like we're making another run at Hair Pod.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Got 4 bombs and 2 hearts.
So with blue mana, that would mean Amarith has, what, 2 attempts?
I believe 3. Before taking a Death Warp, anyway.
True, yeah. Worst case scenario, Amarith would not go far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amarith giving up on it for now. Well, we have seen the Tower of Hera Big Key on Ursula's side, and we know that the Desert Palace Small Key that Amarith needs is in the compass chest of Tower of Hera. So since Hera is a crystal, I don't think it'll be too long before Amarith comes back. But yeah, not wanting to run out of bombs is a perfectly valid concern, and Amarith finding Ganon's Tower is really nice because she is going to be able to check the right side of Ganon's Tower as well. We can now do the entire basement with the exception of the Ganon's Tower big chest.
Yeah, it looks like Amarith is taking us right to the compass room. I just realized this means Amarth is not far from those Titans mints either.
That's true. Titans were in Rando Room. Oh. Bonked around by the Gibdo there. Ursula, in the meantime, finds Eastern Palace. So this is going to get Ursula the red cane. And we will also see an extra chest on Ursula's side. In the meantime, Compass Room of Ganon's Tower yields the Palace of Darkness big key.
Yeah, so if Helma has an item, Amarth has a pretty good advantage there. Or the big chest. I believe half magic was here too. I could be wrong on that.
Oh, that could be. Alright, just a map to Hera in the big chest of Eastern. So Amarith is not going to be missing out on too much there. So, interestingly, this red cane that Ursula is about to pick up is in logic, because the map chest of Tower of Hera had the lamp.
Yeah. So, and Hera's been available for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Amarith is coming up on her Titan's mitts, while Ursula picks up her Can Samaria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ursula put Titan's Mitts to good use when finding those. We'll see if Amarith does check those mitts locations right away.
Now, I know Master Sword doesn't do any extra damage to Armos in Eastern. Does that same rule apply in Ganon's Tower?
If I recall correctly, I believe the Master Sword actually does less damage than Fighter Sword to Armos Knights.
Oh, a cruel fate.
Yeah, they wanted to make it harder the second time around. If you have sword beams, it can be pretty forgiving to do the Armos Knights fight, just because you can constantly whack at them with the sword beams and won't have to worry about like chasing them all around the ice arena. Even so, coming at this with just a couple of hearts, it's a little bit dicey. Amarth does have a fairy, and we'll be able to get another one with the magic here, so should be able to take it fine.
Alright, there's that TR big.
Yeah, this is one of the few fights where it's much better to have the beams and the Master Sword. Oh, but Amarth has Blue Cane. Blue Cane is also really nice.
And unfortunately, we know there is not much value behind that door.
Yeah, look at the Blue Cane strat. You just get a trap.
That's good. I've never seen that before. That was good. Good to know.
Alright, Ursula in pod with several pod keys, but not the big key, which was found by Amarth just recently in Ganon's Tower Compass Room. We are going to see some new checks, though.
I don't believe we saw the big key chest, did we?
Right. Neither runner has found the Ganon's Tower big key yet. Or, sorry. We haven't seen the big chest from Ganon's Tower. The big key chest here, no, that was a new check.
It looks like just a hard container.
Yeah. Alright, still just a couple items that we're looking for. I'm very curious about that small key that is on Lumberjack Ledge. Since it is in logic, we do have the lamp now. Ursula has the boots, which were in Hookshot Cave somewhere. Could be that Swamp Small, which could lead to any of the items that we're missing. The Ganon's Tower climb is not available until we find the Ganon's Tower Big Key, and even if it was available, because the top of the pyramid is confirmed to be useless fairy, it's not quite as valuable as it would be in other seeds.
But you would need a bow to get past the red Igors, wouldn't you?
Yep, that's also true. Oh, Agatulok's Thief Shop instead. Okay, so still only one item.
Now, wouldn't that just be wouldn't that be fun if we have a required Aga fight to get the Swamp Palace key on Lumberjack to find Bow in Swamp?
It can happen. Especially now that we've seen all of most of the dungeons that we have access to, including Ganon's Tower, there's a decent chance at this point.
I like to believe I've spoken into truth. Yeah, I think we've been kind of musing about that this entire time. You know, what if that is a Swamp Palace small?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thinking, because we've seen most of the pod keys now, too. One more pod key, one more Turtle Rock key, one more Ganon's Tower key, I believe, to be found by both runners. One more Skullwoods key, the Swamp key, and Amarith hasn't found the Desert Palace Small yet.
Right, and the Desert Palace Small was behind the Titan's Mints, correct?
No, the Desert Palace Small is in Tower of Hera Compass Chest.
Right.
Alright.
Looks like Ursula is going the regular route through Ice Palace.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised by that, because Ursula does have the red cane. Maybe she feels more comfortable with the bomb strats, or maybe doesn't feel comfortable with either. But looks like we're going for the bomb strats. And here, Amarith is finding Hookshot Cave.
And that means Marth will get those lovely Pegasus boots.
Yep. Probably going to check those entrances very quickly. I once again missed where we came into Hookshot Cave. Let's see where it lets out, though.
I believe I saw Ursula find the back of Hookshot Cave before.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, during her bonk check.
Ah. Alright, well, there's one bonk entrance that we don't have to check.
That's actually very handy.
Right side of Turtle Rock, which Amarth has a big key now. Could follow this all the way up to Laser Bridge. Hookshot was at right Dark Village of Outcast Fortune Teller. Gotcha.
Yeah, Hookshot Cave leading out from the bonk rocks in Dark World, about as nice a break as you can get. And I believe Laser Bridge, the only item on Laser Bridge was red mail, correct?
Yeah. But with that, we have all the Laser Bridge information on Amarth's side as well, and don't have that ice rod to be able to take down Trinex. Not that we would want to anyway, because Trinex is just a pendant. I don't believe we've seen a pedestal check.
Oh boy. Well, no, Bo could be on that because Pod's a pendant.
Right.
I was just running through options in my head.
Could be that Misery Mire big key, though.
Yeah, imagine Aga for Swamp Small and Pedestal is Misery Big. Get an Oops All Dungeons cross keys. Who doesn't love some AD cross keys at night?
Alright, so as Ursula's wrapping up Ice Palace here.
There is a bomb check here that I think Ursula had to skip.
This was Saha,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
Ursula came back to.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't lead to anything, unfortunately. Now that Amarith knows where Saha is, it could make beating Helmasaur a bit more exciting, but we don't have the bow to be able to beat Helmasaur with. Oh no, it's Swamp Palace that has the green pendant.
But we don't have that Swamp Small.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple items here just being kind of sneaky. Not turned up yet.
Mm-hmm. Yep, seen a lot of runners retracing each other's steps, but where have we yet to look at this point? Since we have our Titan's Mitts, we can check the entrance that is the entrance that is Turtle Rock Vanilla. Also because we have the Quake Medallion on Amarith's side. I thought we did on Ursula's side too, but I don't remember where exactly that was.
I believe it was Pod.
Oh, yep, you're right. It was Pod. Ursula does have that, actually, then. Because Ursula did check Harmless Hellway.
Yep, that's where it was.
Yeah, when you're doing cross keys, you kind of resign yourself to basically full clearing the game and checking every entrance and checking every dungeon location. It's not too often that you get the ability to skip things. It's not uncommon for cross keys seeds to be somewhere in like the 180s for collection rate, just because you're looking for all these things and risk last locationing something. So in the meantime, Ursula is checking Ganon's Tower, the right side, going to get that Palace of Darkness big key.
I just realized neither player has been over to Southeast Dark Lake Hylia yet.
That's true. The Dark World Shopping Mall area, that could be a nice one.
Ursula making good use of that cape, grabbing onto the wall. No magic drain. So we're getting a nope, not Smith chain.
Yeah, I believe that the purple chest had 300 rupees.
Yeah, those Castle Tower keys are starting to look awfully inviting.
Mm-hmm. At least it's inviting for me. If I were running this one, I would not want to do that Castle Tower check. That's a long commitment for a key that you might not need.
Yeah, Ag is always one of those, like, some people like to put it off as long as humanly possible. Some people like to roll that dice.
Mm-hmm. That being said, like, as a viewer, I want to see it because I'm dying to know.
I can't imagine we have a whole lot of checks left as far as entrances go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mars is about to drop into the Mothula fight with half magic. Should be a quicker time than Ursula's fight.
Mm-hmm. Very
Oh,
nice
yeah.
kill.
Definitely very, very fast. Right, Ursula, what was on the crystal
Flippers.
flippers? Yep.
Yeah, gonna grab those. So that'll make That'll make Ursula start to wonder about the Dark World shopping mall area, which, if Amarith continues on this path, Amarith might be able to get pretty soon. Was that a P that we dug up? Or a flag?
Okay, Ursula's got her flippers. Probably follow those.
Okay, now Amarith is gonna grab that purple chest. And do the entire smith chain.
Oh, is Ursula making the climb?
Ooh. This is the play. Yeah, I think this is the play to grab that small key. So Ursula doesn't have the lamp, but does have the fire rod. It's not so bad climbing Agate Tower if you have the fire rod already. The trickiest room is the room that has the gaps. Oh, Ursula realizing that I don't have the lamp and I'm not going to do it. Okay.
Yeah, it's not terribly tough if you know how to do it. The mentor tournament, my last race, I got guided through Dark Aga with the fire rods. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's not so bad if you can use the fire rod to let your way through the room that has the large pits.
Yeah, without a fire rod and no lantern, that is a bad time.
I once played a Door Rando Seed, and I was never able to find the lamp, but it was the last dungeon, and I wanted to get through that room with the pits backwards in order to be able to clear it. It was quite uncomfortable. In the meantime, speaking of quite uncomfortable, Ursula finds the ice rod on the ether tablet.
Yep, so Trinex is available, which, see if Trinex has anything. Oh, looks like okay, Ursula's grabbing the first chest of Swamp.
Yep. ₹50?
Yep, not much to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that first chest of Swamp, it's one of those things you never want to dip in Swamp with no key. I guess checking the one chest is not much of a time commitment.
Yeah, if you're in the area anyway, especially, it's a lot worse to dip into Swamp for the one chest outside of Entrance Randomizer, just because you then have to pull the dam switch again. So here, Amarith is going to finally grab that Castle Tower's small key. Or Desert Palace small key. So she'll be able to beat Desert Palace when she decides to. Ursula checking Hobo. Did we see Amarith check Hobo?
I've been wondering about that. I don't recall.
Just a pod small, which is the 6th pod small, and we also have the pod big. So that big chest in Palace of Darkness is now in logic, although Helmasaur still isn't because we don't have a bow yet.
Yeah, I'm curious where that bow's gonna end up.
Ursula also doesn't have the lamp yet, but we know where the lamp is.
Yeah, I'm curious if Ursula's gonna pick up on that. You know, it might be out of sight, out of mind for her.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too used to Pilot Spoiler Week, where you just don't open that chest.
Yeah, I piloted it for the first time a couple days ago. It is a tough job.
Yeah, it's a very challenging mode.
So Amarith is probably going to follow that. Never mind. I was going to say maybe she's going to follow that desert.
Yeah, I want to see the dark shopping mall area from Amarith.
Looks like that might be where she's going.
Maybe this is going to be a tablet play for Bombos? Ursula checking the big chest of Skull Woods. Does a nice job with the bomb jump.
Yep, looks like Amarith is taking us to the shopping mall.
Okay, yeah, I also just realized Amarith didn't actually have the book. So, cool. So, Dark World Shopping Mall area, we're gonna have 3 entrances here. I don't believe there are any super dense item locations that we can find. And we know where all of the dungeons are, but there are still some outliers. Did we ever see Mimic Cave?
I believe Ursula did.
Oh, yeah, we did. We did see Mimic Cave.
Alright, just the small rupee cave.
Upgrade Ferry. And
A
Mire
Shed.
Shed for 2. There's a bow. Wow. Alright, so about 2 hours in, we finally entered bow mode. We have now chosen the archer class, and we can beat both Eastern and Pod, only Eastern of which is an actual crystal. Pod, we know we have seen all 6 small keys. And could beat Helmasaur as well for additional progression. We also have not seen the big chest of Pod on either runner's side.
So at this point, all we know we're missing is Misery Big, right?
Yep, that's right. Need that Mire Big. Wouldn't hurt to have silvers either.
Yeah, silvers are always nice, but it's one of the, especially with players of the skill level, you don't sweat it too much.
Mm-hmm.
Silvers or another sword upgrade.
Yeah, definitely like to have Tempered Sword if we can too. I like that Amarith is checking the Vanilla Ice Palace entrance here. It's one of those that you can easily forget about if you leave it for too long. And we don't necessarily need the Ganon's Tower Big this seed because we have seen Ganon's location already.
Yep, all the way back at Uncle.
Yep, and cross keys, the setting is fast Ganon. But it still takes 7 crystals to make Ganon vulnerable.
No, we did not see a hobo check from Amarth because she's headed up there right now.
Cool. So Marth is also going to get that other pod key saying, hey, come to pod.
Got a nice new fancy bow. Got enough pod smalls to get to Helma. We haven't seen Darkross, have we?
No, we haven't seen Dark Cross from either runner. Alright, so this looks to be an Eastern play for Amarith.
Yeah, at this point... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, start wrapping up these crystal dungeons.
Yep, that's exactly what I was about to say. You know, finish the dungeons you have at your disposal. Hope what you need turns up along the way.
Dark Crossroom just with 10 bombs.
So I'd say right now the advantage is Amarith having that bow.
Mm-hmm. We'll need Ursula to go check the Dark World shopping mall area in order to get that equalized. Might see the Turtle Rock entrance from Ursula. Nope. Going here, checking that Desert Palace small key. That makes sense. Just the bottle here.
Yeah, and extra balls never hurt anyone, but at this point, it's not quite what you're looking for.
Yep, and that's correct. We haven't seen the Ether Medallion.
Yeah, okay, looks like we're getting a vanilla Turtle Rock check.
Mm-hmm. So, if something important is here, this could be a nice advantage for Ursula, because I bet it'll be a little while before Amarith heads up this way.
And Amarith in for a much easier Armos fight. Well, I mean, even with the Blue King, it was pretty easy before, so I can't even really say that.
Definitely faster with the regular strat, though. And a great kill there. Just a fairy in the Turtle Rock entrance, but Amarith has now picked up a crystal. I believe that equals them out on crystals. Amarith can take the lead once she decides to clear Desert Palace.
Yep, and along the way, we hope we find that elusive Meyer Big.
Mm-hmm.
Which then probably means the Aga is done.
Yeah. A Meyer Big in Swamp, locked behind Small Key to Swamp on Aga Ledge would be probably the most evil that the seed can be at this point.
Oh, yes, no, never mind. The dream's back on.
Meyer Big could still be on pedestal, because I don't believe we've seen that yet either.
Nope. So yeah, still the potential for a lot of evil in this seed.
Alright, here Amarith is checking Dark Crossroom as well.
Looks like Ursula might be heading towards the shopping mall. Yep.
Yeah, alright, this is the play that Ursula needed to make, because Bo is going to be found here.
And so that'll pretty much make things neck and neck.
Mm-hmm. So the advantage that Ursula has right now is having found that ice rod that is on the ether tablet. If it turns out that we need something on Trinex, either the Meyer Big Key or the thing that leads to the Meyer Big Key, that could come into play. I imagine that if we see that on Amarith's side, it would be about the time when Amarith also decides to check the Turtle Rock vanilla entrance. Or it could be right now. We know that one. That's the fire rod. This could actually be the Castle Tower play for Amarith. Maybe she went back in there wanting to do Castle Tower. As Ursula now enters bow mode, choosing that archer class.
So Mars might be a little turned around.
Mismarking where Desert Back is. Okay. Well, hopefully she finds that soon. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Ursula is taking that bow right to the face of Armos.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there Amarith finds a back of desert. Yep, so we have both runners going to get their 6th crystal about at the same time.
Yeah, definitely in the long term, it was the better play to hang on to that desert key for the Lamo fight.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sometimes the appeal of two checks lead you to taking that key.
Alright, very nice Landmola fight from Amarith. As Ursula is getting closer and closer to that Armos Knight's fight.
Yep, and so at this point, the hunt is on for the Misery Mire Big Key.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so we've seen both tablets. I'm gonna guess that if it's not that small key that we know is on Aga Ledge, then it would probably have to be on one of the Pendant Dungeon bosses at this point.
And Ursula takes a different quick kill route, but just as effective.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I think this is the play. Yep, this is the play on Amarith's side. All right, we're gonna see an Aghanim fight for a small key. If that small key is the Swamp Palace, and if that Swamp Palace small key leads to the Misery Mire big key, this is the play that can win or lose the game right now.
You gotta love it. No, there's the Swamp
it's
Palace
right
key.
there.
Oh, the Aga fake out.
Wow. That's incredible. All right. Well, we know it's not that one then, but we still had to go into Aga Tower for it.
Yeah, Ursula was right there, but bowed out because of the missing lamp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ursula didn't want to have it from that dark room, so that could be pretty rough for Ursula. I don't think checking the map chest of Tower of Hera is on Ursula's mind. There are still some outs for Ursula. We have Helmasaur. Ursula would have to go through the turtle room in the dark, which isn't necessarily the easiest thing. But we have Helmasaur, and we do have Trinex that Ursula can do. But Amarith checking Swamp Palace immediately, and yeah.
Yeah, definitely. At this point, pickings are slim. You go where the density is. Maybe hope you can pick up a sword or silvers along the way.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that go ahead, sorry.
Ursula hesitates a bit and decides to leave Palace of Darkness. Maybe not feeling comfortable in the turtle room without the lamp. What were you gonna say?
I'm just trying to speculate like the missing lamp. At this point, I'm wondering if it's out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even think Ursula was aware that He was skipping that.
Yeah, and Amarith is taking no chances cleaning out Swamp.
Mm-hmm.
See if she makes the play for left side.
Oh man, one item left.
There's our
Silvers.
Alright, so mash the sword for the first 3 phases of Ganon, which not super easy, but definitely manageable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amarith is deciding to skip left side. And we're gonna see Trinex on Ursula's side, so this is the play that Ursula can make that would win the game at this point. If the Meyer Big Key is here, then that would be pretty important. And to answer the question, the lamp was in the map chest of Tower of Hera, which probably didn't even register to Ursula at the time.
Another possible point to Ursula is if the Meyer Big is on pedestal, then Amarth will still have to go find the ice rod.
Yep, that's true. If Meyer Big is on pedestal, then Ursula would also have to jump into Agath's Tower at some point to find that small key.
That is true. So no Meyer Big yet, so if it's on Argus, I would imagine, with not many options left, you make that dive to the left side.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna once again see double boss fights on both runners' side, except this time they're both bosses of pendant dungeons.
And another simultaneous kill, the second one of the seed.
Alright, Green Pendant also putting Sahasrara in play. Ursula gets the Ether Medallion, which puts the Misery Mire vanilla entrance in play.
Yep, and Amarth is not leaving anything to chance going back for that left side play.
Yeah, I like this. I also like the play of skipping left-hand side at first, and then coming back later.
Yeah, because
so,
you figure... Oh, sorry.
Doing it this way loses Amarith about 50 seconds for the extra time it takes to jump back in, and then do all the stuff getting to the left side to begin with. But if you find the big key before that, then you're gaining time. And at this point, there's not that many other places that could be on Amarth's mind. What were you going to say?
I was saying, you weigh the odds. There's what, 1, 2, 3, 4 checks, including Argus, versus the 2 on left side. You play the odds, and unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Alright, what is in this Vanilla Mire entrance? Just fairies! Ursula not gonna take that big bomb to the pyramid. Oh, I guess... Interesting. It never occurred to me that the bomb salesman would sell another big bomb after we've already turned the big bomb in.
Yeah, that's one of the things you just never really think to go back and take a look at.
Alright, I think we're getting a map check. Where did I go? What do I do? We might be seeing Agatower from Ursula, which could draw him into Swamp Palace as well. Left side does not have the answer for Amarith, but we do have that green pendant from Swamp still.
I'm wondering if it could be Pedestal.
Yep, could be Pedestal, could be Sahasrara. I think we're about to get one of those answers.
Yeah, it looks like Martha's doing a ped check.
Mm-hmm.
Or not.
Amarith doesn't have the book, but Sahasrara is in the Dark World here.
Oh, right.
In the random house on the screen that people just don't go to.
I think it's what, a shield shop in vanilla?
I believe it, I'm not sure.
Oh, is this it? That's it!
Big key to Meyer, yep. Hard required pendant Argus.
Which at this point was the lesser of any present evil. Alright, so Amarith is in go mode at 221.
Mm-hmm. And I like that this all stemmed from Amarith finally deciding to commit to doing Aga Tower, going for the clear in order to get the small key that was on Lumberjack Ledge, but finds that small key to Swamp Palace just one chest early, basically.
Yeah, you basically just trip over it on the way to Aga.
And it's like, oh, I guess I don't need to do Aga after all.
And Aga's just like, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in this seed, Aga will be left all by his lonesome.
Mm-hmm. And to say once again, the game has jokes.
Like, looks like Amarth might be fishing for that tempered, possibly.
Mm-hmm. Finally got that small key to Hyrule Castle. Marth checked that with bombs very early in the seed. Ursula wasn't that far behind checking it either.
And what cave is Ursula in? I can't quite tell.
This is the Dark Maze in Pod. Curious what's on the big chest, which we hadn't seen yet either.
Yeah, and our tracker, Zeriu, saying that Lumberjack Small must be the last Turtle Rock.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I honestly wouldn't fret too much about that Tempered Sword because Master Sword for the first few phases is not the best ride in the world, but having silvers for phase 4 makes it nice and easy.
Yep, don't have to worry about the 24 spins it would take.
Yeah, Mara's going to put those silvers to use right now. With plenty of arrows left for Ganon.
Okay, there's a big key to Ganon's Tower, so that is not a thing that could mislead Ursula. But yeah, if Ursula would have been able to do that Dark Aga and found that Swamp Palace small key just a little bit ahead of time, we could be seeing a very different outcome. As it is, the game definitely has jokes, and now we're going to get to see Amarith's Master Sword Silver's Red Mail Ganon fight. Ursula having a little bit of a rough time in this dark maze here. Just a map.
Yeah,
nice job.
In a nice spot.
Yep, nice job being able to get back there and get a bunch of hits on Ganon. Was that enough? Not quite. Ursula, in the meantime, is committing to the Helmasaur fight.
Does Amarith have a fairy? So, yeah, she sells fairy.
Yep, fairy and a red potion.
Yeah, so that's nice. That's good.
Yep. Nice thing about Entrance Randomizer, you just stumble into potion shops and can just pick one up on the way.
Alright, we're on the phase 3. So the worst of it is definitely over.
Mm-hmm. And 2 cycle on phase 2 is very, very solid.
Not quite getting the torch glitch, but with silvers, it's not much of a big deal.
Mm-hmm. And with half magic, not super concerned about running out. All right, everyone, get your GGs for Amarith, who, pending the crossing of this short bridge, is going to be our first place runner for today. And Amarith is finished with an official race time GG time of 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 52 seconds. Really fantastic time for this mode.
Yeah, that is breezy for cross keys.
Mm-hmm. So in the meantime, we'll see Ursula on this Helmasaur fight.
Alright, and Helmasaur is down.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shiny mirror shield.
Yeah. Laser Bridge is now in logic all 3 ways that Laser Bridge can possibly be in logic. All right, we are joined by the winning runner from Zelda and Chill. Hello, Amarith GG.
GG. That was a seed that had me worried for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were both wondering if that mire would pop up on the pedestal, possibly.
Oh, the couple things that had me for a bit was, one, having stolen that Desert Small, and then the Desert Small not turning up for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it did, I was like, alright, cool, let's go to Desert. Where's Desert? Why don't I have that marked?
Yeah, we were wondering about that. Fortunately, you were able to find it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
soon.
there was a time in there where it was like, you're doing an awful lot of like stopping and like running into walls and stuff. What are you doing? It's like going through my body. It's like, I know I saw it here. It's somewhere here early. Where is it? I can't find my Desert.
Yeah, GG. I was also wondering about that play to commit to stealing the Desert Small. I saw that you had taken the Death Warp beforehand, but then when you saw the bottle, were you thinking that Sick Kid was going to have something, or did you just want it for the safety?
I was thinking Sick Kid probably had something because I was like, nothing's really turned up. Sick Kid's pretty early in there, and I just kind of forgot about him for a little while, and then I was like, should probably go turn this in and see if it was something, hopefully. Like, maybe, please.
Gotcha.
But it did turn out to be quite handy being able to route pod the way that I did and get pretty much everything that I could have wanted out of there in one shot.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was really cool.
Yeah.
I had not seen the fairy revival for the camera unlock in pod before. That was really neat to see.
If you need any specifics on it, the only thing about it is that you have to die running into an enemy from the left to the right because it bounces you back to the left, and that's the whole point of it.
Ah.
Yeah, we were
If you go the other way, it doesn't work.
That's good to know. Yeah, we were saying that was really a heads up. So you found the bug catching net in the shooter room just a few seconds before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of crafted that one a little bit. I was like, man, if only I had a bug net, I'd be able to do potion camera and just get a bunch of stuff in here. And then I was like, oh, hey, bug net, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Ask and you shall receive.
Yep, it also led to you being able to get that Quake medallion a little bit earlier because you didn't have to use a key for the front door there.
Yeah, I never did actually use it to actually get into TR. It was just really nice for getting fairies out of trees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, TR was just fairies anyway.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, the big difference was that Swamp Palace in the end. You were a little bit ahead of Ursula getting the bow, but both of you ended up getting the 6th crystal about at the same time. The advantage that Ursula had was Ursula had found the ice rod, which was on Ether Tablet. So Ursula did decide to do Pendant Trinex towards the end. Didn't end up being anything important.
Well, where was the book?
The book was in the Desert Palace big chest.
Yeah, I was wondering when I was going to make my way back there. I was like, it's still just one check, but I think I was going to end up in pod after Swamp Palace and Green Pennant.
Mm-hmm. Because at that time, you had also just found the 6th pod small. At the time when you were both looking for a book, or at the time when you were both looking for the bow, all 6 pod smalls were available. So pod in the vanilla big chest was potentially a thing that we could have seen, but the seed wasn't quite that mean.
Yeah. And the whole reason I decided to go Castle Tower anyway, because I was looking at what I had, I was looking at what keys were available. I was like, it's got to be in Swamp. It's the most dense area, and there's just that one key floating there on Lumberjack. And I'm like, it's pretty much either that or the Turtle Rock key, and I'm like, or bust.
Yep.
Having completely forgotten about the Hyrule Castle small, I was like, let's just bite the bullet and go.
Yeah, that's
and then
what
it turned up nice and early.
Yeah, we were joking you were on what you had committed to Aga, and you just kind of tripped over the Swamp Palace key on your way up.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice little bonus. It was just like, oh, cool, don't have to go all the way.
Yeah, that was very funny how that worked out. I was we were talking about what that small key could be, and it being the Swamp Palace small key specifically, ever since we found out that key existed. So it was refreshing to see you finally do it, and then just hilarious what ended up happening.
Yeah, we were busy cooking up the most evil scenario possible,
the evil, right?
Swamp Small on Lumberjack, leading the Pendant Argus, which leads to Pedestal Mire Big.
I was just waiting for the GT Big Key, and was like, okay, let's go. We're going to climb. Just jump on up. Let's go. That's it.
Yeah, that ended up not coming into play at all. I was worried about the Ganon Tower big chest, too, because you're able to clear the full basement without it.
Yeah, because I was telling someone earlier today, just oh yeah, the time is always required 90% of the time, so...
Hmm. Yeah. The other...
no, GT Big Key was on Vitreous, so didn't have to think about that.
A relatively benign place for the GT Big Key to be, all things considered. The other thing that ended up making quite a difference was Ursula, when you both arrived at Tower of Hera, each of you were struggling a little bit with the Hera pot, but in the process of trying to get that glitch to work, Ursula had missed the lamp, which was in the map chest of Tower of Hera. There was a time relatively about 10 minutes before you found the Swamp Small, where Ursula was in Castle Tower, and we thought that Ursula was going to make that play with Fire Rod, but ended up realizing, oh yeah, I don't have the lamp, and decided not to do that then.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deterrent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those Aga Tower dark rooms,
not terrible, but they're really not friendly.
yeah. And like oftentimes you just don't know them because it's so rare in any of the non-entrance modes that you would even have a desire to do Aga Tower in the dark. But yeah, it was a really fun seed to watch, a really fun seed to play too. I imagine having Flute so early, Moon Pearl relatively early. Ursula was a little bit before you to both the hookshot and the powder, which led to the hammer from the uncle check. But in the meantime, you were checking out so many of the other entrances that it about averaged out in the end.
Yeah, I was just trying
like
to
I said,
clear as
you
much
got
ground as possible.
Yeah. And like I said, you ended up getting the 6th crystal at pretty much the exact same time, so...
Just all boiled down to who went for that Swamp Small first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ursula made the push towards Aga's Tower first, but ended up backing off. And then you went in with the lamp and ended up finding that Swamp Small, which was the big difference maker.
It would have been great if they were if they decided to just brave it and be like, let's try to brute force it and go for it. Like that could have been a great race. Like I would have loved that.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, sometimes rando's gonna rando.
Yep, it does that.
So with this, that's win for Team Zelda and Chill. Who's going to be the other Cross Keys runner?
Oh, we already got the second one scheduled and up there and ready. It's Oro versus Akuhish. I think I said that right. Aku, because yeah. Let me double check because there's a time on that somewhere.
That's
Tomorrow at. If I could just read numbers, didn't I put this on schedule? Yes, there it is. 6:10 tomorrow.
All right. So we'll see there if Zelda and Chill can complete the sweep, or if Zebes' Frog Bar can get revenge.
Yeah, put an end to Cross Keys week for us nice and early, and just have enough, just time to rest for next week.
I'm sure it'll be relatively refreshing going from Spoiler Week, where everything is very fast and deaths are particularly very unforgiving, to Cross Keys Week, where you pretty much have to full clear the game, to going back to just the standard vanilla 7-7 open rando the following week. You get your extremes on either ends, and then you get the middle. And then Randomizer Week, we get even more extremes, but in a different way. But yeah, with that, I think we're about set to wrap up. Anything else you'd like to say about the seed, Amarith?
No, I'd say it was fairly tame for a Cross Key seed, not too bad, pretty happy with the outcome though.
Definitely pretty breezy for Cross Keys. For was it 2 hours 25 minutes?
Yes, I'm close to that.
Well, in that case, to sign off, Thank you to our restreamer Yoinker's wife for picking this match up. Thank you to my co-commentator Lucian Greeth for joining me today. We're going to be rating Speed Gaming 5. Stick around for more Cross Keys, more A Link to the Past Random League, and have a good rest of your evening.
Have a good night, everyone.
Oh, also, huge thank you to our tracker, Siryu. Fantastic job. Definitely kept us in line.
Thank you, Seiryu.
Thanks, Aryu.